One time Spider-Man actually went to Wakanda and he was getting his hair cornrowed by some Wakandan ladies. And then Black Panther catches him like, Peter, what the fuck are you doing with those cornrows? Do you think you're Justin Timberlake or something? Then he sees the ladies he's with and he's like, I see what's going on now, Peter. Spider-Nam is a comic that a fan drew. Great art of a crazy story where Spider-Man ends up getting drafted to Vietnam and he becomes the Spider-Man of Vietnam, and he's got a cool jacket. The art is fantastic. A fan drew this and he was made this awesome ass comic and he submitted it to Marvel. He was like, can we do a comic where Spider-Man goes to Vietnam? That'd be great. And Marvel was like, no. Netflix announced that they are doing a live adaptation of Evangelion, and I'm really freaking excited because I love Cowboy Bebop's live adaptation from Netflix, and it's gotta be fucking just as good. They've done so much cool stuff with Batman. I think the only thing left to do is to actually make Heath Ledger's Joker come back and have him be Batman. Like, Heath Ledger Joker Batman would be something else, man. He'd have the suit and be all covered in grit and grime and puke and snot and blood or whatever. It'd be great. I'd love to see how Heath Ledger operates in Gotham. I know he wouldn't get along with Jim Gordon's ass. He probably wouldn't get along with anybody. And God forbid you get interrogated by this version of Batman, because he'd be snapping fingers and they'd be like, tell me where the hostages are now. Tell me where they are. You're like, oh shit, I'll tell you. Dominic Mysterio fell out of the shark cage and the crowd was like, like, we were really shocked about it, even though it looked like it's totally safe because his foot was connected and he's harnessed in, so it's just like, he's fine. But when it first happened, everybody was like, you know, so that was cool. Like, yeah, now you see it the second time, like, it doesn't look that bad. But I wouldn't want to fall off that damn shark cage and just hope the goddamn harness catches my goofy ass. I know the Hugo Evil Twin episode is supposed to be funny and all that, and it's played for laughs, but it's actually really fucked up the more you think about it. Like, the fact that Homer and Marge would, like have a kid in a goddamn attic for years and years and treat him like shit is, like, just horrible. And they're like, oh, Bart's the evil twin, so, like, oh, that makes it ironic and funny or some shit. And you're like, okay. And just the way they animate Hugo with, like, his disheveled hair and, like, his dirty clothes, and just, like, you're like, this isn't fucking funny, y'all. Like, I don't like this. Like, this isn't Halloween-y, this isn't scary, this is gnarly. Like, let him eat the chicken, and then he eats the fucking napkin. You're like, oh, poor kid. Like, you know how fucking hungry you have to be to eat a fucking napkin? Like, pretty goddamn hungry. And then they put Bart's ass in the fucking vent, too. You're like, one time, something was sapping Superman's powers real bad, and he needed energy so bad that he had to go to not McDonald's. That's not McDonald's there. That's 3 Arches, not 2. Anyway, he had to go to the not McDonald's to get a bajillion cheeseburgers, and all the ladies working at McDonald's at first were like, whatever you say, Superman. But then as they saw him gobbling down fucking cheeseburgers, the Borg ears, so fast, they're just like, ugh. So, but I think he's alright now. I don't know. Definitely the best moment in MCU history is in WandaVision, when Vision was rocking that fucking black turtleneck looking like the baby. Never forget the time Jimmy Olsen sold out Superman. They put kryptonite cuffs on his ass and he's counting the money right in front of him. Like, damn, Jimmy, what a bad friend you are, dude. Many people say that this image is a cursed picture of a pepperoni pizza that has way too many pepperonis on it. People say the more they stare at this pizza, the more uneasy they feel, and the more they feel like this pizza is an abomination and that it should be thrown in an incinerator. But I'm like, I mean, I would take at least a bite out of it, but still, I wouldn't feel happy about it. I'd be like, who made this? Can I get serious for a second? I read an article about cryogenically frozen humans, like the first ones from back in the day, and it is not pretty. Ooh-wee. So apparently, if they freeze your body will only be taken care of for so long before the power goes out, or the company goes out of business, or they just unplug it, or someone forgets to pay a bill. Then they unthaw your ass, and you're just like, I absolutely love this cover of Spider-Man where Peter Parker gets arrested because they make him look like the most savage, freaking insane criminal ever. Like, I don't know what he did or didn't do, but based on this one little picture, I think he did it. And I'm like, dude, that's Spider-Man, so it's like, if you fucking piss off Spider-Man, he could bash you, son. He could smash your ass to pieces. Did you know that Spider-Man and Mary Jane once got freaking evicted from their condo on Christmas? Crazy, right? Like, Spider-Man, you need to start taking money from these crimes.
One time, Peter Parker almost exposed his powers to the crew at the Daily Bugle because this dude across the street was using mind powers to make everybody fight. And then when Peter started fighting, he started whooping serious ass, and everybody was just like, Peter, are you okay?
In the movies, Tony Stark sacrificed himself to defeat Thanos, but in the comics, he kind of gets lost in the sauce, if you know what I mean. Cool helmet though, bro, but it's like, bro, if you get to the point you're sweating and shaking like that, like, maybe drink better quality booze? What is that? Winston Canadian? Probably shitty whiskey. Tony, you can afford better, bro. And you could probably make the suit detoxy too so you don't get so many hangovers. That's probably what he did in the future. This never happened again. Can you imagine if Rogue got the fucking Infinity Gauntlet looking all fucking sexy and just beats the fucking piss out of Thanos? And if that doesn't work, she'd always just take off her glove and just touch Thanos' face and absorb all his fucking powers. I'm not really sure what powers Thanos had, but Rogue would definitely get them, dude. She needs to get her own fucking movie. Like, I don't know what all you goddamn Marvel nerds are doing. I don't know how the hell you let a goddamn Captain Marvel movie happen before a fucking Rogue movie. But maybe in Captain Marvel 2, Rogue will show up and just zap her fucking powers up, because I feel like that's what we're all waiting for, because Rogue deserves it, dude. She fucking deserves it. But of course, her character is just too strong. Like, she's too strong. Like, fuck. Like, she's too wild. She's a Southern Belle who will fuck you up if you look at her wrong. And like fucking the Marvel Cinematic Universe ain't trying to have that.
I love this old ad from like, it looks like 1975 or some shit because it looks real old based on the way it's drawn. But it's a Dracula or a vampire. Not every vampire is Dracula, I'm sorry. But he's got a coffin full of Doritos and Pepsi? What? Ew, no. The pigs from Harry Potter's birthday party finally got developed and they are looking crazy. We're having a good ass time that night. I mean, Dumbledore was there, Hagrid was there, this nerd was there, the chick with the hair, the other chick with the other hair, the twins, the red-haired dude. I don't really like Harry Potter, but I saw these pictures and I was like, I could definitely make a video about that. I'd party with those freaks. Something Wicked This Way Comes. Pretty damn good episode. Summer and Rick actually get super buff and they actually beat up the devil, which is fucking awesome. And like, you know, what else can I say about that? Like, they literally show up at his place and they jump his ass in front of a crowd. Like, what else could you fucking ask for? Like, that shit's amazing. And giving him body shots too, like, damn, dude. And then, yeah, let's just watch them beat up the devil for a minute. Awesome. I want to see one where Morty is the villain and like Morty's like addicted to ladies of the night and he's been gambling in Vegas and just going too hard with his friends that he just meets a gang of fucking rowdy ass kids his age and he's got like his own little Stand By Me gang, his own little Sandlot gang, and then they bail on him and he's got like this huge gambling debt to this space pimp and he's got ladies of the night, and then out of nowhere Grandpa Rick shows up dressed as Santa Claus and saves the day and everybody just parties at the end. That'd be a great freaking episode. And at the end, Morty's just like, oh man, I've learned a lot, burp. And then he's just like, oh my god, I burp like... One Rick and Morty idea that could be easily turned into a movie is a string of the comics called Rick and Morty Go to Hell, where Rick and Morty go to hell. I didn't really read the comic, but based on the premise and the covers alone, that'd be one hell of a party, dude. But I definitely think they can milk that into at least 3 episodes, and that could be like their little first movie that people gotta go see, and maybe make it in 3D or something, or make it so the chairs move when you watch it, and the room gets hot when you see it to really capture the hell experience, and just have the art style be fucking crazy, and just have all types of cool, like, dark art and stuff at certain points, but then they get to another lowest circle of hell, and everybody's there, and that's the plot twist, is that being on the show Rick and Morty is hell itself. I'm just kidding. But it's something like that, something heavy and deep. I don't know, I'm not trying to give away too much shit for free, but still, if they do go to hell and they do see all the characters, they stole that idea from me, who stole the idea. The Simpsons gave Homer's best friend Barney Gumble his own comic book, which was filled with all types of illicit and explicit activities. Glunk, glunk. Woohoo, if you know what I mean, because we all know Barney Gumble likes to get fucked up all the time. Like, all the time. That was like his character, that was his soul was just the drink. And I hope he gets better soon. Microsoft Paint was one of the coolest programs ever because you could just paint stuff with your mouse on your keyboard and on your computer, on your desktop and stuff, and just draw. Just draw and draw, and it looked like shit and it was super weird, but it was still awesome in its own way. Computers, man, they changed everything. Before you had to get like a crayon or like a watercolor or a fucking colored pencil to do shit like this. Now you can just use a fucking computer.
One of Batman's scariest comic books is Arkham Asylum: Serious House on Serious Earth, which is a story showing how Arkham Asylum was initially built and how its creator, Jeremiah Arkham, went insane. And then it flashes forward to present day where Joker himself has taken over the whole asylum, and he looks real scary in this book. Like, I don't know what the hell they were on when they designed the look of this book, but it's mad, spooky, and scary, and it's pure horror. I hope if they ever adapt this book, it looks just like this. When they did The Long Halloween, they took the cool comic book style and completely threw it out the window and made it look like a basic-ass Batman story. And that kind of ruined it because, like, some of the magic and essence of these stories is just the scary-ass visuals, and we need that. Someone made this picture of Batman and Wonder Woman and made Wonder Woman like this huge Amazonian woman, if you know what I mean. And I'm like, good for you, Batman. Good for you, bro. I don't think Batman could handle all that, but I know he would try. Ooh, wee. Okay, so we all remember back when Nightfall happened and Bane broke the bat. And it looked really painful. Batman was out of commission for a while. But the worst part is, if you look at the cover years later, the dinosaur in the background was fucking terrified of Bane. He's like, oh my god, what am I... After Unity breaks Rick's heart the second time, or third time, or fourth time, we don't know how often they go back and forth. You know how that shit goes. Rick goes crazy on his glunk and his boop and his boops, and he just goes insane. Insane with power, madness, adventure, and he's just going a little bit too hard, as you can see, picking up his own spaceship and crushing it like Superman, and then he's just completely just trashed and wasted at this point. Complete intervention, rock bottom, and Morty is like, I'm 14 years old, I've seen too much, and Rick, and the end Rick turns into his greatest nemesis, Plumbus Rick, and you don't even want to know what this guy can do, because no one does. I remember when Adult Swim had the live-action Rick and Morty teaser thing, and it was all hype, and everybody was like fucking loving it, and we was like, there's gonna be a live-action Rick and Morty movie, ooh-wee. And then nothing ever came of it. It never fucking happened. And I was like, well, what happened? Where's the fucking Rick and Morty movie? Adult Swim? Shit. I want to watch that. Superman fought Doomsday in the 90s, and he actually died fighting this creature. This horrible monster thing actually beat Superman's ass to death in the freaking 90s, and this whole shit was so scary. I remember reading these comic books and just crying and throwing the comic across the room being like, nah! And it was a huge thing. And then once they made the comic was one thing, but then they made the video game right after, and you have to fight fucking Doomsday at the beginning, and then you just lose, and Superman dies in the game, and you're like, oh shit. And then they replaced Superman with the worst fucking guys. The reign of Superman. These four guys were douchebags. Steel was okay. But Superboy, Teen Superman, Eradicator, Cyborg Superman, horrible guys. Garbage guy. The one guy was just Superman with sunglasses. The Eradicator, he says, I'm Superman, but I got sunglasses, y'all. And they're like, okay. And then fucking Super Kid was just I was watching Brightburn, and everybody was just like, what about Brightburn versus Superman? And I'm like, oh man, I'm honestly surprised there aren't more Supermans that are like Brightburn, because what are the odds that like there would be a kid who would get these fantastical powers and not grow up to be a douchebag? You know what I mean? It's just like, if you could do whatever you wanted, you'd never want to listen to anybody. You'd be like playing Grand Theft Auto 5. You'd be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna run over people. So for the most part, there'd probably be goddamn a bunch of Brightburns running around and no Superman. And if there was a Superman versus Brightburn, then maybe Superman would win if Brightburn didn't like lie to him and get him to think that everything was cool, and then Superman turns his back for a second and Brightburn fucking kills him, because he would do some shit like that. So you never know, though. They could be buds and chilling out. Fuck, it's hard to say. Superman's a cool guy. Superman had one villain named Captain Strong, and he was obviously based on Popeye, because Popeye is really, really strong. When he gets that spinach in his system, ooh boy, like he will beat your ass. And apparently Popeye can beat Goku, and he could probably beat Superman. So like, if I'm just saying, like, Popeye's really, really freaking strong, but it's like if you take the spinach away, he's just a normal guy, right? Although one time he popped out of the comic book that he was in and killed the guy who was writing it, which is awesome. I always found it weird when they'd have Batman and Robin comics where they're like smiling and cheesing and all happy and stuff. It's like, first of all, who the fuck are you smiling at? Because I don't like that. Don't smile at me. And it just like,
off-putting and weird. So Batman, be gritty and hardcore and suffering and miserable all the time, or just don't leave the house.
Dragon Ball Z's biggest what if is, what if Goku didn't get that bump on the noggin that completely rewrited his brain and made him from a brutal Saiyan murderer with murder and lust in his blood to just like a goofy ass normal kid who like doesn't know shit about anything. That also explains why he was so stupid in Dragon Ball. Like he was acting mad dumb in Dragon Ball. It's kind of part of his allure, I guess, is that he had a kind heart. He was dumb as shit, but like he's supposed to be a killer.
If Superman, Goku, and Popeye all got into a big ass fist fight and a scrap and a tussle, Popeye would win that shit. Isn't that gnarly? But if the mask, like, you know, Jim Carrey's The Mask, like, ooh, smoking, he'd kill everybody. He would destroy all these motherfuckers like that. Isn't that weird? If you rewatch Dragon Ball Z, the Ginyu Force was actually like a really badass team. It's like they had incredible powers, and like Gohan and Krillin were extremely lucky that Vegeta was there and that Goku showed up when he did, because all the people on planet Namek would have dusted Gohan and Krillin instantly, and they just barely survived. And like the guy Goldo could stop time, Raccoon was super strong, fucking Jason Berta were there, and then Ginyu could swap bodies. How the hell did they survive that? Like, any of them, they got real lucky. Dragon Ball Z probably hit its animation and storyline peak during the Future Trunks saga. Like, everybody loves Future Trunks, probably more than Goku, because he's way more endearing and way cooler than Goku ever was. I mean, Goku's pretty one note, but Future Trunks had a lot of bread and butter to his story, if you know what I mean. And it all begins when Goku freaking succumbs to the heart virus that he got from eating too much Popeye's chicken and stuff, too much Earth food, because he's a Saiyan, and Saiyans aren't used to Earth food. And you know how Goku eats a lot of food, and he fights a lot, and he transforms a lot. So everyone's real sad and surprised that Goku dies, and he literally fades into the sunlight, and everyone's like, whoa, he's Goku. And for some reason, they don't use the Dragon Balls to bring him back. I don't know why they don't, but they definitely don't and can. And then a year, like 6 months later, bad stuff happens because the androids show up, and you know, 17 and 18 are some bad. This is one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen AI make. Somebody said, what if Goku and Bulma had a baby? And I'm like, ooh, that's sacrilegious, because if a Vegeta found out about that, he'd be fucking pissed. But then, it gets worse. It gets so much worse. I thought this was bad. Someone said, what if Goku and Cell had a fucking baby? You're nasty. One of the hottest Christmas presents that you could ask for in 1972 was the Pizza Hut personal pan pizza maker that you could just make yourself. You can take this shit upstairs in the middle of the night and make at least 2, 3 personal pan pizzas for you and your friends. Or if you had a lady come over in the middle of the night, you're like, boo, I can make you a personal pan pizza right now, baby. What you gonna do for it though? And she's like, I don't know, Daddy, you tell me. And you're like, McDonald's at one point had the pizza, and it's like, if you got lucky, you could go and get yourself a Pizza Hut style personal pan pizza from McDonald's. I never got one because, of course, they got rid of it. They get rid of all the stuff I like. They got rid of the cheesesteak. They got rid of the chicken wings. They got rid of the parfait. They got rid of the McRib. And I'm like, bro, they got rid of the snack wrap too. And I'm like, God damn it, McDonald's. I just want cheap food that's close to where I am so I can just go get it. You can't get anything for less than $5 anymore at all anywhere. And it's really, really freaking sad. But at one point, they had a pizza. And I'm like, good for you, McDonald's. Good for you. Gross. One of the Attitude Era's defining moments is when Stone Cold Steve Austin was breaking into Brian Pillman's house. And Brian Pillman legendarily had his, if you know what I mean, and he was ready to Stone Cold Steve Austin because he was breaking into his house. And I guess in Texas or wherever, there's a stand your ground law, and you can definitely do that. So Austin proceeds to break in to Pillman's house on camera, and then this freaking happens. And then I remember watching this as a kid, like, and then it's just like, oh, it's fine. And then just like Vince and Jerry the King Lawler are on the fucking commentary, just like, oh my God, we don't know what happened. Did he get shot? Did Pillman shoot Austin? And they're like, wow, did he? Like, did he shoot Stone Cold? And you're like, it was like, wow, the Attitude Era was crazy as shit. Before Kevin Owens came to the WWE, he was in ROH, and he went by his real name, which is Kevin Steen. And Kevin Steen was very, very different than Kevin Owens, because for one thing, Kevin Steen was an absolute freaking psychopath. Like, scary as shit. Like, look at him just standing there, ominous, evil fucking presence. And this guy was hardcore. He'd stab his own best friend, El Generico, in the back. We haven't seen him since. And now he's just, like, chilling and bopping and being a normal-ass, cool, just good guy in WWE. But in ROH, he was literally like fucking Patrick Bateman or some shit, because he was so like intense and just like horrible to El Generico and everybody. And when he won the World Championship, people were like, Jim Cornette was fucking pissed.
At one point, Shawn Michaels was the biggest piece of shit in wrestling, but still very charismatic and very likable. He was the bad boy of wrestling. He was very 90s. He was like the dude Tommy Lee or some shit. He was like Tommy Lee of wrestling, and I mean that as a compliment, I guess. But I guess he had a lot of problems backstage. Then he teams up with Triple H, who was kind of just normal ass rich dude, I guess, and they became D-Generation X, and they got really, really raunchy with some of the shit they did, which is really weird because Monday Night Raw used to be a way crazier show, and now it's just like whatever. And they like flashed their butt cheeks to the audience one time, and this was on TV, and like now these two guys run the fucking company. It's so weird. Also, back in the day, there was way more hot chicks in the audience. Like, they showed hot chicks and hot people in the crowd way more often than they do now. And like, apparently these ladies love this. I remember when Shane Douglas like set the wrestling world on fire when he won the NWA championship title, and then he like fucking was like, I'm so happy to have this fucking title, psych, and then he just fucking throws that shit down on the fucking, and it was just like, Shane, you can't do that. And he's like, fuck NWA, ECW is the shit now, and I'm the man ECW, and la-di-da, and blah blah blah, and shmoo. And I was just like, damn, Shane. And I think that was kind of bad karma to start off ECW Extreme Championship Wrestling on, but like, we're talking about it years later, but still, like, oof. Kenny Omega is one of the most divisive men in wrestling today, with some saying his finger-pointy, twinkle-toesy, fluttery, flamboyant style is a mockery of wrestling, and other people saying he's one of the best wrestlers to ever do it. I actually met Kenny Omega in New Orleans, and he was really, really fucking nice guy, so I can't say anything bad about his wrestling style. So let me know in the comments if you think Kenny Omega is good or not. Back in the day, a couple of years ago, there was a wrestler named El Generico, the generic luchador, and he was one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. One of the greatest to never get signed to a major wrestling label thing. Like, he kind of retired from wrestling to go back to Mexico to work for this orphanage where he takes care of orphans, and everyone's having a good time. We love you, El Generico. Hopefully you come back to the ring one day. Look at that Blue Thunder bomb, though. Goddamn. The only person I've seen do a Blue Thunder bomb like that, might like Sami Zayn or something, but yeah. He's wrestling Jushin Thunder Liger here, and it was one of the best matches of all time to go down at PWG. Two legends of wrestling, and Liger is still out there somewhere. El Generico, no one knows. Everybody wants to pretend Kirby is so innocent and like just like cute and just like, oh, he's pink, he won't do anything. Kirby is a monster, all right? If Kirby wanted to, he could eat the entire fucking universe and just swallow it and then poop it out and absorb all the universe's power, even worse than Thanos, if he chose to. I was originally just going to make a video about how Snorlax was my favorite Pokemon because he was a heavy hitter and he wanted to sleep all day and just chill, and I ain't mad at that. But then I found out that there's a huge subculture of Snorlax body pillow lovers that just love these freaking pillows and just lay on them and roll on them and smuggle on them, and it's awesome. But also, did you know that Snorlax was based on the notorious B.I.G. Neon Genesis Evangelion and Garfield did a crossover, and they both have such complex characters that this stuff actually kind of works. Like these crossovers and layers and this string theory, it's like a lasagna of perfect characters and drama and bullshit and spaghetti. A lot of it. I want some lasagna right now. Prince was such a genius that he took a song that he wrote in like 2 seconds that he knew was gonna be a massive hit, and he gave it to his best friend at the time, Sheila E., because Prince had a lot of hits in the bag. He's like, I don't even give a shit. I wrote this shit in like 2 seconds. It's a bop. Sheila, you can have it. You've been my drummer for a long time. You've been in my band. I'm gonna give you a freaking hit. for your album. I'm gonna produce it, whatever. There's gonna be some hits on it. I'll write a couple of them. I'm gonna give you The Glamorous Life. I wrote that, 2 seconds, whatever. And then he gives her a Love Bazaar. But he does come back for that receipt because when the video comes out, everybody suddenly knows that Prince not only wrote the song, but he performs the fuck out of it, makes Sheila E. look like a goddamn amateur, and he had Wendy from the Revolution. They were all backing her up, but Prince was wilding out that night. He was just like, you know what, this is my song low-key, and I'm gonna make it my song, and everybody's gonna know that you just sort of just like got it from me. And Sheila E. was like, alright, shit, you're still Prince, fuck it. I see this picture of Marvin Gaye and Michael Jackson, and at first I wondered what the hell they could be talking about, but now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure Marvin Gaye is telling Michael Jackson some crazy story about some wild orgy / gangbang fueled by Colombian marching powder that he just had like an hour before. Michael's like, damn! Little Caesars is gladly inviting all of us to come and eat it from the back, and I'm like, what? Excuse me? Huge advancements have been made in the world of pizza. Like, look at these cool pizzas that I've discovered on the internet. This is a cheeseburger pizza, a SpaghettiOs pizza with little chunks of hot dogs in it, which is awesome. I'm here for that. You know I love that. And a General Tso's pizza, which looks disgusting, but I'd probably still try. You'd have to fold it over and eat that one. Sushi pizza, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm loving that. Look at it. And then there's the Hot Cheetos pizza, which looks like something you can get on Bourbon Street for $13. And a dessert pizza. I'm here for it. If pizza came shaped like a person, like this, like it was like personification, like, can you imagine if the pizza was like, if it had like a head and the shoulders and a hand and like a little heart and nervous system, like, would you still eat it? Like, would you? Like, somebody's got to get the head and eat the guy's head. I mean, this pizza man had a life at some point. Like, would you still be able to like eat pizza if it was like that? Because I'm like looking at it and I'm like, I kind of want some pizza right now. I'll eat that fucking head, you know. But would you? Back in the day, there was this thing where you could get a tomato and like cut it and like just like slice it into like little ass like strips of tomato slices, and then you can get some salt and just put that salt on them fucking tomato slices. That's some good fucking eating right there. I recommend if you have a tomato anywhere, just get a knife and just throw some salt on it. Another AI was asked to make demonic pizza, and it came up with all these demonic, like, nightmare fuel-inducing, terrifying images of just our friendly neighborhood pizzas and nachos just being evil and just hardcore and terrifying. And I don't like it at all because it's like legitimately scary. Like, this could be a fucking movie. If anyone steals this idea that I took from these AI pictures that I found randomly online, know you found it here first. Pizza demons coming soon. Nintendo was really proud of their Super Nintendo controller, but Sony was still really pissed about how stuff went while they were developing the PlayStation. So they're like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna steal the Super Nintendo controller, and it's gonna be the PlayStation controller, but we're gonna change it just a little bit. We're gonna put the little lines between the D-pad and the little buttons in the middle, turn them this way. And these buttons over here, shapes. Nintendo was like, the PlayStation had a lot of cool prototypes and designs. Like, I'm looking at these cool logos and these cool controller prototype things that are made of clay, and I'm like, that's really cute. I'm loving it. Look at this cool, quaint controller. But then I see this, and I'm like, is that the Super Nintendo controller? And I'm like, is that the Nintendo PlayStation? Ooh, I told y'all they stole that shit from Nintendo, and nobody wanted to fucking believe me. They thought I was joking, but it turns out I was right. They stole that shit from Nintendo because they were pissed that the deal went through. Fuck.
Today, I made a controller entirely out of pizza. I used an HID board along with some wires, and I plugged them into each pizza slice. Each pizza slice is its own button. For example, I have pizza for movement, and then I have pizzas for attacking and dodging. And the best part about this controller is that if I want to heal, I have to eat a piece of pizza. I want to heal. I take this pizza right here, I eat it. This is the worst thing I've done in this week. I'll just say this week. Overall, the pizza controller is really good. For $20, I was able to beat Dark Souls and have a good meal at the same time. Just bring some napkins because the pizza slices get really greasy over time. Today...
The end of Rick and Morty season 2 was so intense. All this shit goes down. Rick goes to freaking jail. The Galactic Federation takes his ass in, and it's super sad. He feels like his family's abandoned him, and nobody loves him, and he's ugly, and his voice sounds weird when he talks, and everyone's just like, God damn it. And this is when the peak fandom was at its fucking highest, dude. People gave a shit when this stuff went down because they're like, oh shit, is the unstoppable Rick stopped? Summer has the best character development out of anyone on the goddamn show. After all the stuff that happened with Rick and Morty, you think Morty would want to step up once Rick gets in trouble. But out of all the people to step up, it's Summer. The girl who's been left behind for like an episode after episode finally steps up and grows a pair and just starts becoming way more badass from season 3 on. And like Morty's just like a little sniveling bastard, doesn't learn anything. But fucking Summer from episode 1 to episode now, even like she's definitely grown. Like whatever parallel dimension versions of her are all very badass. And she's the one who gets Rick's portal gun like a fucking genius. It's fucking badass. And then Morty's just there chilling. I mean, I know Rick gets out of the situation his own way, but the fact that she was so ready to step up is badass. The coolest Morty himself is probably Saul Goodman Morty, lawyer Morty. Like he was fun when no one else was. Look at him go. God damn. He stole our hearts, he stole the show, he stole it all with that one episode. I hope Lawyer Morty comes back sometime because he's the coolest. Not asshole Wall Street Morty. Tammy and Bird Person's wedding is one of the most beautifully animated scenes of just all time. Like, it's so colorful and just like, look at that goddamn beach behind him in the sun. And it's like, Tammy and Bird Person are two of the most fan-beloved characters of the show. And like, god damn it, Bird Person really just deserves to be happy. And like, Tammy's just awesome. Like, one of Summer's best friends, one of Morty's best friends from back in the day, frolicking. And then there's fucking Squanchy. Like, they're all there just hanging out. And just like, god damn it, Bird Person. Like, I'm just fucking happy for you, bro.